This is to certify that movie
Twats.
has been classified for live streaming.
Hello!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on another week of movie chats. This week's been an interesting week, shall we say?
I've just noticed we're both wearing football shirts. May I add?
Yeah, the season's finished now. We're both wearing our colours. We haven't worn them all season. It's been an interesting week. It's been hot, cold, wet, windy,
sticky.
Yeah, every type of weather that you could imagine under the sun type of week this week. Good evening, Peter. Thank you for joining us, sir. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been all right, mate. I've had a couple of days off now, so I'm getting re-energized, and it's always nice when I do this on my days off because I feel a lot more awake when I'm doing it. So It's not been too bad, mate. Not been too bad at all. It's just that weather. It's been sticky as hell over the weekend.
Well, I've learned today, or this week, that I've got to check opening times of shops because I went up to Starbase 55 yesterday. It was shut because the market's shut on a Wednesday. And then I went to Manic Miners in Warrington, which is the other toy shop I found, thanks to Rob from the Bounty Duo. He put me onto it. Turns out they open at 1 o'clock on a Thursday. So yeah, I've not.
He opens at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday.
He opens 1 to 8 on a Thursday. So yeah, I had a job just around the corner, so I thought, you know what, I'll just nip in. But yeah, I just couldn't nip in on my lunch. It just wouldn't happen. So I ended up in Starbase 55. So I bought 2 new Transformers today, traded some toys, and got 2 new Transformers. So, I might have to show you them later on pickups if we do pickups of the week.
Okay, mate.
Yeah. So other than that, how was your week?
Yeah, like I say, it's not been too bad. I was in work over the weekend, so been off yesterday and today, so just chilling out. I've watched a few movies today, including the homework, so so we had something to talk about. But I started watching Thingy yesterday, The Last of Us, because I wanted to wait until it all finished to binge it. So I started the first episode. I'm quite enjoying that.
Still haven't started that. With season 3 of The Witcher coming soon. I started season 1. What day are we today? Thursday. Start season 1 Tuesday, and I'm on episode 6 of season 2. So,
wow.
Yeah.
We've been very productive at work, haven't we, Steve?
I have been very productive at work. It has been a very hard week, and that's probably why I've been binging so much telly when I get home, just trying to turn my brain off for a bit. I come home on Monday, and I was that physically exhausted and mentally exhausted after a hard day in work that when we went to spin class, remember the scene in the In-Betweeners where that song comes on, I Don't Speak Americano, and they're all dancing in the nightclub?
Yeah.
Well, I was dancing like Will was on the spin bike. I was just exhausted. I just wasn't paying attention to what we were doing on spin at all.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just been a busy week. Been a very busy week. Right. Shall we get this homework out the way?
Yeah, go for it.
So, this week's homework movie was Vamp. Now, this was selected by our guest last week, Dave at Savage Zombie Reviews. So go and check him out if you haven't already. Go and give Dave a good subscribing. I don't know why I'm saying that on the back of this movie. In fact, don't subscribe to Dave.
I know, don't be daft. Get them subscriptions in.
Go and subscribe to the lad. He's a good lad. Right, yeah. So Vamp. So just briefly, bit of a blurb about the film. Two lads start off college in America, trying to join like a frat place, and
Yeah,
they
that's
end
it, yeah. It's what's the actual word for it? Fraternity.
fraternity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one. Yeah.
they're joining a fraternity, and they're going through the initiation test. And at which point he goes, "Look, this is ridiculous. You know, why don't we just get you your supplies for your party? And if we get you everything, being the word that they've used there, everything that you want for this party, then we can join the fraternity." And then one of the blokes went, "Yeah, I like this where this is going, but I don't like the word everything." He could have said something, you know,
No, he
made
said
it.
anything, didn't he?
He said anything. That's what I'm saying. I like the way
Yeah.
he's going, but I don't like the word anything. He could have said something, you know. Then it turns into like a bit of a Euro trip type scenario where they're trying to find strippers because that's what they need for the party. And then it jumps into a poor man's Dusk Till Dawn striptease make vampire stripper movie. Yeah, it very strange, very strange. Now, funny enough, I was saying to Steve at the start of the show, this is crap. And what did you say about it getting?
I said the thing is that this thing's got an Arrow release, right? So for me, it's got to have some sort of cult following on it. I mean, the thing is that it says on here, flesh-hungry freaks, exotic vampire dancers, and black comedy combined in one of the great cult video store hits of the 1980s. So that's where I'm at. So I think that this has had a lot more traction, you know, sort of being a VHS in the 80s, you know, and that's where this has come from. Because, I mean, the acting's not terrible. It's a semi-decent movie for me. It's like it's got what did I say her name was? Thingy Kelly, is it?
Grace Kelly.
No, Grace Jones. Sorry,
Grace Jones.
Grace Jones. So it's got Grace Jones in it, but she has no dialogue whatsoever, and she's like the main vampire queen,
She's
isn't
the
she?
vampire queen. Yeah.
You know.
Do you know who the bloke? Do you know who the bloke reminds me of in the bar? Do you know what the au pair sort of bloke?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. He reminds me. Do you remember Alien Resurrection with the scientist and he's monologuing through the whole birth of the alien
Yeah.
hybrid? That's what it reminds me of. Oh, the vampire queen is gonna eat your heart out now. And oh, by the way, and on the stripping stage is Candy. She'll melt in your heart and melt in your hands as well. And you're like, that's all you got was that little monologuing from the bloke over the mic. And then when he
He's
was
like the bar
talking,
manager, isn't he? Though.
yeah, but when he was talking to him when he was getting the triple brandies, the 3 triple brandies, did you not see him throwing it around the bar? It's just like, quick, go and spill this everywhere. And he was deliberately going like this, throwing
Neil's
it
going
around.
to be on the throne for the next hour and a half. He's clearly.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't know if it's one of those that they will grow on me because it's not terrible. But you have a different opinion of it because I don't think it's aged that well, to be fair. But I'd like to have seen what the hype was around it when it was in blockbusters and stuff years ago. Because it's semi decent acting in it. It's not it's some bits are a little bit gory, aren't they?
there is some funny bits. You know, you know, when we were turning around and we were sort of talking before about towards the end of the film where he's tested his girlfriend, she's not actually a vampire.
Yeah.
And he's going out here and he pops the lid off the sewers and the manhole up and and she goes, haha, very funny. And then the zombie comes up behind him and kills the vampire. You know, stuff like that. There is some funny bits in the film, but yeah, it was another lost in translation moment for me. Where it was like, what the hell am I watching?
I knew after I watched it, I was like, if he watches this, I know exactly what he's going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you're after 80s cheese, really, and a vampire movie, It's up there, I think, with them, because that's where it is. D.D. Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the Chinese Donald, isn't it? Where we get you don't see him getting bit or anything like that, and he ends up turning into a vampire, and it's just like, why don't you just get out the back of the car when it's on fire? Open the door and get out the car.
yeah, that guy, right? So first of all, when I saw that guy, I was like, I'm sure I've seen him before. And to be honest with you, I was convinced he was the lad from the Goonies. But he's not showing up on any of his IMDb. He's been in a few movies though. That lad. But he just reminded me of the kid from the Goonies at first, just an older version. But I mean, a lot of them haven't really gone on to do a hell of a lot more, have they?
What was the Ryan Reynolds one? Was it Van Wilder?
Van Wilder Party Liaison.
Yeah. And have you ever seen the film Dead Man on Campus?
No.
No, so you need to watch Dead Man on Campus, because there's a bit of that where, you know, the Chinese lad is that there's a character like that in Dead Man on Campus where people go to him to get what they want, and everyone's really friendly, but they're not really his mates and stuff like that. And I don't know if he was supposed to be the comic relief for the two.
Maybe.
Mates.
Yeah, maybe, because he was like the odd one out, wasn't he? They were like the cool
kids.
I don't know. I mean, that guy's dead in a bin, in a dumpster, and the next thing you know, he's there.
Yeah. And then the woman's dead next to him, looking at him like that. It's the same facial expression she had on the whole film.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you talk English? Yes. Can you walk in a straight line?
That's the point of these movies, though. Now, you know, when you're looking back at them, it is the cheese, isn't it? It's like you're not going to take these films seriously, you know. And I think that's why. I mean, it was only an hour and a half long, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
You know, so it's not like it dragged out for 3 hours.
No.
I was quite happy putting that on and finally seeing something that I purchased.
I didn't see what the whole point of the "I'm not telling you what my name is, guess my name. Can you remember?"
That was bizarre, wasn't
it? You get like every 10, 15 minutes and she'll throw a line. I can't believe you just don't know who I am. All right, well, I'll go and speak to AJ. He'll remember who I am. You know?
Yeah.
And then,
so this is the waitress in the bar.
Yeah.
That comes up to him in this bar that's full of vampires, and somehow she isn't. So it's one of those situations where she recognises the guy, doesn't she, from school or whatever, but he doesn't know who she is.
From sharing one kiss at a 5th grade.
But we had to wait about an hour or so before she told us who she was.
Yeah. But she picks the most bizarre moment. He's getting chased by vampires and gang members.
When the moment's right.
Yeah, by the way, my name's Alison. And you're like, really? Now? This is what you're telling me?
Roger be Brown in my head then. Who the fuck is Alice?
You've got Snowy and his boys chasing you one way. You've got fucking the vampires chasing you another, and you're stopping to say, "Yeah, I kissed you, George, in the bottle in 5th grade." Yeah, do you want to get in this sewer, love, before you die?
The thing, what I don't get is that gang that are chasing him in the car.
The albino.
I would. Is that what they are, albinos?
Yeah.
Because I would have put money on them being bloody vampires at one point.
Well, when he ordered 6 coffees, when you make them in the cafe,
yeah,
I'm thinking, there's the introduction to the vampires. These are going to be superhuman. They're going to throw them around the cafe, and then they're going to spend all night getting rid of them, you know, chasing them down or whatever. I don't know. They're just some random gang that comes out at night that is unaware that the rest of the town seems to be vampires around them.
Unaware.
Because it was just about. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely are. Just like completely blissfully unaware.
Yeah, it was just like, how long have you lived in this town for? Oh,
It's
and
not
about
even
because he
just the
goes,
people
oh
in the club, is it? It's the whole fucking
no,
town.
yeah, because he goes, oh, what's this gang then? And then the little girl attacks him. It's just like, you've not just rocked up on your little hearse car or whatever it is that you're driving and not knowing what's going on. You obviously live in the area because the cafe owner knows you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It
You're stuck. You're
It's
breaking
definitely
up
an
again, mate.
interesting one.
Your
What?
internet's terrible again.
No, it's too hot, mate. I've got the fan behind the laptop again. I've got the overheat thing on the laptop.
All right. Okay.
The yeah. I don't know. I don't know. 2 weeks on the run, I've watched the film and I've gone, "What the hell have I watched?"
Yeah.
And Lana
Yeah.
Lana comes in and she goes, "This looks shit," and it is, but I've got to watch it.
I don't know. Like I say, for me, I'm happy. I've watched one out of my collection, so that's going back on the shelf to gather dust.
So, obviously, little Steve is going to keep this movie. I did ask him to scan it before we went
It's worth
live.
more than I bought it for.
It's worth more than he bought it for, ladies and gentlemen. So,
But yeah, I'm gonna keep that.
Right. So let's get the. I know what we haven't done for ages. Let's put the banner on. We haven't put the banner on for ages.
Oh, I know. It's terrible, isn't it?
When people take snippets of our show and put it on their shows, at least with the banner on, people know who we are. Right. Let's jump into featured actor, shall we?
Go on then.
This week's featured actor is Nicole Kidman. Let's move on to pickups of the week.
That's about as good as it gets, isn't it?
It is. It is. Should we just mention the 5 films that she's done that people know?
I've got a few. Just mention the ones that people will know. You see, the thing is that I saw a lot of her movies in the 90s. So for me, a lot of that is like I've got Far and Away.
Yeah.
I've got To Kill a Sacred Deer, which is one I watched recently, which is 2017, which was quite interesting. Then I've got Bombshell, which is obviously the 2019 version film. To Die For, Days of Thunder, and I'm going to chuck one more in just for the sake of it, which is Moulin Rouge. Which is 2000.
Wow, you've done so much better than me.
I hear that on a weekly occurrence, to be fair.
Because I've gone with Far and Away, The Peacemaker, Batman Forever, Practical Magic, and Days of
Batman
Thunder.
Forever, she was terrible in.
But it's a film that I knew.
Hey, Kuro, so we've gone from rating her to whatever we can find that you know of.
Yeah. Right.
Not necessarily the best movies, but definitely the ones that you've heard of.
Yeah. The others, I've also got written down the others, Eyes Wide Shut, and Panic Room, but I can't remember her being in Panic Room. Who was she in Panic Room?
No, was she bollocks in Panic Room?
Well, that was Jodie Foster, wasn't it, in Panic Room?
Yeah.
Unless she was...
Peter, I enjoy Batman Forever, but she is the worst part of that film. And that says a lot, really, to be honest.
See, Reading says the best movie he's seen with her in is The Others, and that's saying something because The Others is a terrible film.
I don't think she does suspense very well. She doesn't do horror and suspense very well. She's got the same expression.
It's written all over her face, though, isn't it? Oh, something's hiding in that cupboard. Let's pretend not to be scared.
She's got the set, but that's what I'm saying. She's got the same expressions, whatever movie it is.
Yeah.
If it's a love movie, it's exactly the same expression than the others.
I really struggled with this week. I am not going to lie to you.
Oh, I forgot Paddington reading movies. Yeah. Fucking hell. And that's what she'll be remembered for.
See, The Peacemaker, I love The Peacemaker, that George Clooney. I don't know if it's George Clooney's performance that I'm enjoying in that film.
Coro, I'm not denying that it's a good movie. What I'm saying is that she's terrible in it. All she is a blonde bombshell in it. She has no acting ability whatsoever when it comes to that film. So Chase Meridian she plays.
Yeah, she plays like the Kim Basinger, Vicky Vale sort of role from Batman, doesn't she? And
yeah.
You know, she's that type of character.
I mean, like I said, there's many movies that she's been in, but it's just for me, she's the same actress in all of them.
Yeah, there you go, Pete. Eye candy.
Yeah, and that's basically it. I mean, The Stepford Wives is probably one of the worst ones I've seen with her in. But having saying that, Bombshell itself, I enjoyed the movie. Days of Thunder.
She's much of a B-list actor who only made a popular. Yeah. So we were talking about some another couple of actors that were like this. That they were never like the A-lister in the movies. They were always like there as support, but have done quite well with that. And she definitely falls into
that category. Yeah. No, I haven't seen BMX Bandits. Have you?
No. That was one of the very early ones, wasn't it? Was that her second or third?
Yeah, that's true, Kuro. That is very true. The movie could have been worse if she acted. Yeah, I suppose.
I quite like Practical Magic. I thought that was quite good. But again, she's in there with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but Sandra Bullock is by far the stronger actress there.
Yeah, and you've got two eye candy in that film.
Yeah. It's like Sandra Bullock and is it Thingy McCarthy and that cop one they did. It's very much like that because although she was an up and coming, it was definitely Sandra Bullock that carried that movie in the what was it called?
I don't know.
Oh, that's going to annoy me now. It wasn't that long ago, actually. It was just before she started really hitting it famous. I think.
Wasn't Cop Out? Was it Cop Out? Was Bruce Willis?
No. Maybe they can find it in the chat before I do, but I'll try and figure out what it was called. Oh, what was it bloody called? I bet it's not even. I bet it's The Heat. That's it. Thank you very much, but yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. The Heat. It is like you say. It's one of those where she's potentially the sort of she's the B movie actress, isn't she? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Don't know what it is. Since talking to Nicole Kidman, I've got a real big itch in my nose, and I need to just to try and come up with some bullshit to keep this interesting.
I don't think there's much more to say on her, so I'd rather do something like spin the wheel, to be honest.
Yeah,
just to change the subject because if it wasn't going to kill the channel, it definitely will be if we carry on any longer with Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Oh, so I don't know.
Let me. We are sharing, aren't we? Yes, we are.
I've got Tammy in the T-Rex, Kuro. I've got that. I've still not watched it, to be fair, but I've got it.
So as you can see from the wheel, ladies and gentlemen, we are running short on movies. So please, leave a comment after this video, and we'll
I'll give you a list of all the ones I have over here that I haven't watched.
Yes.
Unlike Steve, where he buys them and then puts it on the wheel. This is spinning a while, isn't it? What the fuck is that?
Joe's apartment. Paul Magpie Movies put this on, didn't he?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, Magpie.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And we're running awfully low on actors. By the looks of this. The only queen of the vampires that we ever need.
Salma Hayek. Speaking of her, I'll tell you what I started watching this week. The new series of Black Mirror. And she's in one of the episodes.
Is she in that? Is she?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Black Mirror stuff. I think I saw one episode and it had Anthony Mackie in it, and he played the computer character that he was sleeping with his best mate.
Oh, that's the worst one to try and watch. That is.
And I think that just threw me off watching the rest of the series because I was like, because I just come back off watching. Because I just come back off watching Altered Carbon, and he's in series. Yeah, he's in Altered Carbon season 2, isn't he? He's put me off Altered Carbon, and then I went and watched that. And the first episode I watched had Anthony Mackie in.
I've watched about 2 or 3 episodes now. I enjoy them, but like I said I was thinking it was Lisa Retro Girls had a chat thing going on, and I'd said to her, one of her friends was asking her, or somebody was asking about it, and I'd said to them, the thing is with Black Mirror is, although it's the same director, it's a completely different cast, it's a completely different story, every single one of them. So there's going to be stuff that you like and stuff that you don't like. I mean, I don't hate any of the episodes, but I would say there's a few of them that I'm like, well, to be honest with you, I could probably have done without that. But one of the things that I do like about it is it's very much like the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. When it's about trends, it's about topics that are quite relevant or not far off in the future, sort of thing. And so even looking back at some of them now, you could probably look at them and go, bloody hell, they got that right. It's a bit like The Simpsons, where there's all of a sudden there's a certain bit like Donald Trump going down an elevator, and you sort of see a picture of him doing the exact same thing. There's some stuff in it that's definitely heading that way. There was one I watched, I think it was series 4 maybe, which is around social media, and it was like you had to rate people. So everywhere you went, everything you did, you rated people, and it was off a star system. So if you wanted to buy a house, you have to have a certain rating, and the higher the rating you got, the better your life was, essentially. And there's all sorts of twists and turns in them. But yeah, I enjoy them. But Salma Hayek's in one of the recent ones. In fact, the reason, apart from the fact it's Black Mirror, the reason why I watched one of those first was because it had the girl who plays Alexis in bloody hell, Schitt's Creek. And I think she's a good actress. I like her. And she's in it. And then Salma Hayek's in it. Because they do, basically, this particular episode at the start of it, I won't give too much away, but at the start of it, this girl's life starts playing out on what is a different named version of Netflix. And literally everything she does, this Salma Hayek is hired to as it was like, it's basically the documentary style thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
And her whole life just turns to shit because all of a sudden it's like people are seeing what's happening in her life. It's called something like Awful Jane or something like that. Horrible Jane or something. Yeah, Nosedive is good. But obviously, as it pans out, I'm not going to give the story away. But it can happen because all this. The reason why they get away with doing it on this Netflix alternative is because people are just accepting terms and conditions for anything and everything without reading anything. So she sort of starts asking questions as to why she can't sue them, and it's like, well, actually, you agreed on page 349 of your terms and conditions when signing up to this social streaming. One of the ones that I enjoy the most, I think, is Black Christmas. That was a special that they did. That's a really good one. If anybody wants to watch one, another series is about the guy in the black outfit and hat, David Spade. What is it called? Oh, Jesus! It's not House of Cards, is it? It's the other one. My God, what's it called? With David Spade.
8 Rules How to Date My Daughter. 8 Simple Rules. He was in that, wasn't he, David Spade?
Bandersnatch was good too. Yeah. And that's Bandersnatch is very similar to the stuff that you get. Well, yeah, and it was. I'm just getting confused a bit there. 1 second. What's it? Yeah, David Spade.
Fix my light, and I've got this band of light there, right in the middle of my head.
Just your glow, your natural glow in it.
That's what it is. You see, I'm just sparkling personality.
Oh, what was it called? David Spade. Was it David Spade? Are we thinking about somebody else?
David Spade's the American comedian, isn't he, from Grown Ups and stuff like that.
I don't think it's him. I think it's the other guy. Oh, what's it called? It came out about the same sort of time.
James Spader from Stargate.
James Spader.
Was he the one that played Daniel Jackson?
The Blacklist.
The Blacklist. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one. But like I say, I mean, I've been on here many a times. I've always raved about Inside Number 9, and it's a very similar situation. Although the Inside Number 9 has the same actors predominantly all the way through it. The Black Mirror is just a completely different cast every time. And the thing is that I think they're over an hour long, so they're literally like little movies, every one of them.
Yeah.
But one of the comments.
I think the only one that I watched, I just come back off watching Outside of the Line that had Anthony Mackie in it. I watched the season 2 of Altered Carbon that I think I might have just OD'd on Anthony Mackie, and it was just a bizarre storyline to jump into my first episode of Black.
A lot of them are, but it's just there's so many twists and turns in some of them. You know, I really sort of enjoy them.
Do you know what just occurred to me? Do you know, because we haven't done pickups of the week for so long?
Yeah.
We haven't got an intro for pickups of the week in the new setup. I'll have to sort that out. It's just occurred to me.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
So
just roll with it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just roll with it. Pickups of the week. Go.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on. I'll go first. I've only got 2. So I took a box of toys up to Starbase 55. You can probably see me my collections are getting thinner and thinner, and it's not that I'm getting rid of any of the stuff that you guys are sending me. I'm getting rid of the stuff that started my collections. You know, the kiddie type figures, like the little ones like his size and stuff like that. That I'm not going to be. I got when I started collecting, because what my plan is that I am now going to the big expensive statues. You know, like the DC and the Marvel statues and stuff like that. I'm keeping all the Transformers, so I'm making space. Now, I took a box of figures into Starbase 55, which is the toy shop in Ellesmere Port, and I traded that in. I got some money. However, I did manage to spend the money that I got trading in. So I picked up a Prowl today. Now, I've not got Prowl, so believe it or not, that's a Transformer that I don't own.
Wow. You do now?
I do now. I had my eye on him for a while. Anna kept saying to me, "You've got your birthday coming up soon." So I know she's bought me Transformers, when she had to double check which ones, and Prowl wasn't one of them, which is good because I've managed to get that now. And then, you know, I quite like Starscream. I've got him tattooed on me there. You know, I've got a couple of Starscreams already. And this was new into the shop.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's still boxed. It's the 1986 styling, but I think it's a later.
It's a repro.
It's a later release, yeah. But yeah, my God, yeah, I love that though. That's ace. So what I've done is that. So what I've done is that.
Don't open
it. He's not going to get opened. He's going to stay in the box. So
Good.
what I've managed to do is that I've managed to make some space on the shelves behind me there.
Yeah.
You know, by moving stuff around. And then because I cleared a load of stuff, I moved Transformers over there onto that one. So if you remember that, I'd only like my Star Wars and everything mishmashy on it.
Yeah.
So the space in between the two jets there and there, that's where the box Starscream goes, and that space there is where Prowl goes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So I was doing that while I was bored watching Vamp.
Fair enough.
So, mate, what have you picked up?
I picked up a few bits. One of the charity shops. I picked up the Ronnie Baker collection. So this cost me £3.
Yeah,
which good. I did already have open all hours, and I did already have porridge, but this is all in one box set, so I just picked them all up for £3. So I got rid of the other ones for like £1 odd each, so that weren't too bad. I picked up Deep Space Nine Series 1. I'm starting on them ones now.
I was going to ask you what series of DS9 have you got, and that answers my question, because there was a couple of DS9s in RCEX. You going Blu-ray or DVD?
No, just DVD.
Just DVD.
But I've got one of them in that same Next Generation set. Like, you know, them cases.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I've put it, but it's definitely here. I've got 2 series of them now. Couple of things I'd picked up. Don't think I'd mentioned, but I'll just quickly show you 3.
Your Star Trek fascination at the moment beats mine. You know, I love Star Trek, but I haven't got all the series on DVD. You're not particularly a fan of Star Trek, but you're collecting them all.
Yeah, because I want to get... I mean, I did watch some Deep Space Nine when I was younger, but I was more Next Generation and Voyager.
And you know you can get these all on Netflix as well, don't you?
I know that. So I picked up Men in Black on 4K. That was only a couple of quid. I spoke about that last week, the Terminator one. I got Spirited Away on Blu-ray, which I've had on DVD a few times and never got around to watch it, but it was on Blu-ray, so I picked it up.
Now, I've started binging me anime, and Spirited Away was one of the first ones that we watched a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, that's why. I mean, it's rated as one of the best ones, so
Yeah.
I was like, right, I'll pick that up. I'd said to Lou, one of the box sets that I was after next was the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like 8 series. I think it's officially finished now. But it's about 45-50 quid.
Yeah.
Hey AJ. Anyway, I went into Newark the other
Evening,
day.
buddy.
And they had 1 to 6 for £18. So I was like, So, but then I noticed they also had Series 7. So, although it's not ideal, the Series 7 was £3.50. That was 18 quid. And I think the Series 8, which if anybody sees any, let me know, is like 6 quid in CEX. So it's still considerably cheaper than buying it as the box set. Like, it would be one of these box sets anyway. But like with all 8 series in. So I bit the bullet on that. But it is one of the ones I like to sort of sit and watch. The other ones I picked up, in fact, yeah, there was something else, but I've picked up a Moana steelbook. This is a 4K, so that's really nice. That's all embossed. Yeah, nice set. Now, what happened with those was I went into one of the charity shops in town. One of my favourites.
Hey, Gareth.
Hey, buddy. This is a Wreck-It Ralph Mondo. I wouldn't have gone for it otherwise because obviously it's only standard Blu-ray. But with it being a Mondo one, I picked it up.
So since I'm just laughing at Gareth because he hasn't commented on the whole stream, and then AJ pops in and Gareth likes he's been lurking in the background. So I don't know who's followed who.
Hey lads, thank you for joining. But yeah, so what had happened is I had my eye on them the other day, but I went into one of my charity shops and there was the woman was just putting 2 4K Game of Thrones in one of the boxes, which I know she charges £1 for the Blu-rays. And then a few days before when I'd been to Newark, I popped into one of the charity shops and they had a Hobbit 3D box set. So the 3D box set was £5 trade-in, and I paid £1 for it. And the 2 Game of Thrones 4Ks, which I'm not asked about, I paid £2 for them and got 20 quid back off them.
Where did we go shopping the other day? We weren't there very long. Was it Macclesfield or somewhere? We were up that way, and one of the charity shops. Oh yeah, I'll be up for that, Rob.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
I'll be up for that. Yeah, so one of the charity shops are doing Blu-rays for £1, right? Oh, we were Oakengate. It was up in near Telford. When we went to the air show, and they were doing Blu-rays for £1. Now the box sets, you would expect them to have a price on the box set, and they didn't. What they did was that they charged you £1 per disc that was in the box set.
Yeah.
So if you've got like a series on Blu-ray, they were charging you £1 a disc. So if a series is over, say, 6 discs, it was 6 quid for that series. So if you were having like the Matrix Blu-ray for £1, or the Matrix special release because it had 3 discs, £3, and I'm like, come on, love, we've
had that sort of madness around here. I mean, the one that I got the 4Ks from, we've had all sorts of prices. We've had £3 a Blu-ray, and it's like, come on, what are you doing? And I had a word with them. Well, this is it. I had a word with them, and eventually somebody came in who taught sense and said, this is what we need to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, their eBay side of it has really took off. But I think what they come to the conclusion of is, unless it's like a decent game, games are going to be 2-3 quid. DVDs are 6 for 2 quid, and Blu-rays are £1. and box sets are £2 to £3. Like the thing is like this one here. This cost me £3. I don't mind paying that. And in the same breath, I got
how many discs? Just open one of those cases, Steve, and how many discs in that case?
Well, you probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, probably. But yes, I get what you're saying with this because I've got one of my sort of favourite shops. That if I go in there, depending on who serves me. What?
Sorry, go on. I was going to say I've stopped watching AJ's videos because he's just copying mine now.
If I go into one of my favourite shops, I can go through the trays and they'll let me pick them out. And last week it was 4 for £1. This week it's 2 for £1. But if they're left to their own devices, they will separate out box sets, like just completely get rid of the box set, and all you'll have is just single DVDs. And you can tell because they're all them thin ones, and it's like just a whole row of them, and they're charging 2 for £1. But I have had it before where I spoke to the manager and she's gone, "Let me have a look how many discs." Right, okay, so it's 2 for £1. So what? And I'm like, no, you're all right, love. I'll leave it. But it has worked out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't.
I'll come back to Rob's comment in a minute. Yeah, I could believe that, AJ. Sorry, forget those that are in the chat. You might have noticed that I released a lightsaber video for the lightsaber I picked up the other day, and then the next day AJ released a lightsaber video for the lightsaber he picked up the other. So I messaged him just saying that we need to talk about our scheduled videos here because there's been a couple of times we released the same thing. Rob was saying here that CEX Warrington, as you know, I've got a love-hate relationship with CEX Warrington. I've graded steel books now. So
I don't know how they do that because the thing is they're single priced. So I don't know if they've changed something that I haven't realised. But I mean, I rate that because I'm saying to you many times when I buy these steel books, I buy them for the artwork. You know, I have already got Wreck-It Ralph. I've already got Moana. I'm not particularly interested in the fact that it's 4K, but it is 4K. You know, that was the other one I picked up. That was the other one I found. Toy Story Steelbook, the 4K. I think it's Zavvi exclusive.
Yeah.
That was the one because I was trying to figure out what I was going to pick up when I spotted Moana the first time. But yeah, so I've got them, and then I've got the 2 and 3 on 4K as well. So that's coming along nicely. But yeah, I've left things in there in the past. There's a Superman box set. I'll leave that for now. There's a Superman box set, an anthology one, a steelbook the one next in ours. It doesn't matter how many times I look at it, all I see is just the scratches on it. And it frustrates the hell out of me because I would have bought it by now. It goes from £20 to £22 to £25 to £22. And I still can't justify buying it because it's just, it's wrecked.
It's scratched.
Yeah, it's wrecked.
I don't know. I see people sharing stuff in the groups and the messenger groups now because you can't just be in a Facebook group without being a Facebook messenger group. And
yeah, I've got that now as well.
But with people buying stuff off Vintage, you know, the Blu-ray box sets and stuff, and I think to myself, you know, you're spending less than £1 less than what it is in CEX, but then, you know, by the time you've got your tax and you've got your postage, then you've got to wait and all this stuff, and that's if your item comes. You know, and then people are picking up some really good stuff, but then people are picking up stuff that is more expensive than.
Not necessarily.
I
mean, the thing is that obviously this one that I mentioned last week, the 4K, this was packaged the best I've ever seen. It was packaged in a cardboard box. It had extra cardboard inside, so it protected the sides of it. Then it was bubble wrapped twice, obviously in a protective case as well. And then it had a load of paper on top to make sure it didn't go anywhere. The box was massive compared to what we had a thingy.
We were going to post this Mr. Bean down to you, and then we thought, what packaging do we need to put in? But then we realised his penis-shaped nose is going to help him. Look,
Yeah, cheers
look,
for that, mate. Yeah, cheers.
yeah,
Cheers for completely derailing my conversation.
yeah, look, penis-shaped nose. Look. Anyway, yeah. So go on.
You're an absolute arsehole. Can I just point that one out?
That's just ruins your childhood now. Not only the fact he's an alien, he's got a dick for a nose. Anyway, go on. What you were talking about?
Oh,
Your
no,
packaging.
no. Have you finished now? Are you sure?
Yeah, go on. It's all right, go on.
I just want to make sure you finish before I carry on. Anything else to say? Fucking arsehole. Right, yeah. But as I was saying, the packaging on that, I mean, it was up for like 17 quid and I offered them 13, I think it was, and they took it. But the problem is with vintage, obviously, the insurance and then the postage on top whaps things up. That's like the hidden cost, really. I mean, it's there in plain sight, but you don't see that when you're buying them. You're
Yeah,
looking
you're
at it
buying a
going, oh,
steel.
13 quid,
Yeah,
but
you buy a steelbook for £2 and it's cost you £6.
yeah, that sort of thing. So, but I mean, there's not a mark on it. It's beautiful, and that's a definite win for Vinted for me because I've had a couple of shirts from there that have maybe been a bit marked or whatever. But I was a bit apprehensive with that. But that for me is probably the best action film to have in 4K for me. I was like, I want that in the best quality possible. So, I was dead chuffed with that. And plus, full well, I like to put these cases on them, and it came with one. So they definitely looked after it. But I
Yeah,
would
you
imagine
got
it could
£10.
go quite horribly wrong otherwise as well.
Right, so
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly, Rob. And that's what I say to them when I'm in there because when I speak to like people in CEX, I'll say to them, it annoys me because that is literally why I'm buying the thing.
like the ham-fisted person in Chester, you mean, where you're having a mini heart attack the way you was peeling the sticker
Yeah,
off.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's he having for tea tonight?
Chips and cheese wrap.
Oh, okay.
Chips and cheese.
Chips and cheese wrap, apparently. For those of you who aren't used to me eating, unfortunately I have to because I take my insulin before the show, so I end up sitting here scoffing my face, so I do apologise.
Here we go.
But
Right.
if it means anything, I actually do enjoy the food. So there you go.
So I've not got any movie news because I haven't watched it. I haven't looked at anything. However, The Flash has been getting mixed reviews. It's getting but it's really good. It's really bad. Some of the
Yeah, I agree with that,
some
Rob.
of the CGI is good. Some of the cameos are really good. Where do you think he's a pet toss? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we'll get him to ever do that, mate. Have you seen The Flash yet, Steve? Are you in any rush to see The Flash?
I really want to see it because obviously, like I said to you before, I geek out when it comes to Michael Keaton as Batman. So I do really want to see it. I don't know. I think I've learned a little bit over the years to just not read into too much. Sometimes I've tried to stay away from as much media as possible. Just because, right, I have a completely different opinion sometimes as to when people say things are terrible, and I actually enjoy them. And AJ said he enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, but the CGI was laughable.
Yeah, really? In the modern day? How the hell is that?
I was speaking to Mike about it, and because Mike's been to see it, and I usually gauge Mike's excitement if I need to see it in the cinema or not, and because they go every week, near enough every week. But the fact that he never messaged me when he came out sort of summed it up for me. What the film was like.
Well, either he didn't want to ruin it for you, or it's terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the two. Now, I don't know how this is all meant to tie in, if it is going to tie in, because it was meant to tie into the new phase of DC movies, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
credit scenes, and they've all been dropped out. the cameo at the end, which was supposed to have been somebody else, and I can't talk about it because you haven't seen it. But I've not seen it, but I've seen the end credit scene. You know, and that's all supposed to be setting up. Yeah, Flash is great.
Yeah, Jurassic. I remember seeing Jurassic Park at the cinemas. I think that was one of the ones my dad and my mum really wanted to see, so we got dragged to it. But that was immense at the cinemas. That was.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do I put this? I don't know if I'm in a rush to watch The Flash. I think I might just catch it when I catch it anytime. I didn't see the Justice League until you sent me a copy on Blu-ray, did I? The Snyder.
No, yeah.
So I was in no rush to watch that. I'm glad I watched that now because it made Justice League so much better. When I know what
this is it. We had to wait for that. We had to wait so long for that to come out.
But the fact that DC went through 3 different ownership periods in the production of Flash hasn't helped this movie. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I did read the other day that the Hulk's now been handed back on it. So the character, obviously, to be able, there's a possibility now that he can get a standalone movie. Whereas before the rights were with, I want to say Sony.
Sony owned the rights to him, yeah.
Yeah. So that's now been handed back
to Disney or to Sony.
To whoever it was, to Marvel, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, we've got that Scar teaser at the end of She-Hulk now, haven't we? So World War Hulk and Planet Hulk and stuff like that can actually happen now. You know,
see, Invasion's been released now, hasn't it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've not watched it. I was waiting for another couple of episodes. So, guys who have done your reviews, sorry, I've not watched it. Sorry, I haven't commented. I'm waiting for another couple of episodes to get into that. Blue Beetle looks abysmal. I don't know. I quite like the look of that, but then again, I think the Blue Beetles dragged me into like the Rise of the Beasts did. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of it. I enjoyed the first trailer. I loved the second trailer, but the film is shit. And I'm hoping Beetle's not the same thing.
Beetleborg. Speaking of which, I found this in a charity shop the other day. That's Beetleborgs, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think that. No, sorry, is that not Power Rangers?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's definitely not Power Rangers. I'm sure it's Beetleborgs. Woman had no idea what it was. That's me going low. I can feel it. Yeah, I'm going low.
All right. Let's throw the link in the chat, shall we? So I'm really intrigued about Rob's action figure hunt. Now, as you VR Troopers, Rob saying, I didn't think it was Beetleborgs. Because there were black, gold, and actually it might be because wasn't the third Beetleborg blue?
I'm sure I scanned it when I was in there.
Black, gold. Yeah, I'm sure you might be right there, Steve. I'm sure the third one was blue. But you've got a couple of VR Troopers, haven't you? Because I bought you one in Grantham.
Yeah.
And I traded in my gold Beetleborg the other week. So I'm intrigued with Rob's toy hunt because speaking of which, good evening, sir.
Legend. How you doing, bud?
Yo. So what I'm thinking about the toy hunt, we could almost
Yeah.
do it like a bargain hunt. We all give each other a tenner each. We go to a few toy stores and we've got to buy each other something for a tenner. Something vintage potentially, because obviously a lot of places near us. You got the Star Wars guy in Manchester. You got a couple in Warrington. I think it could be a fun little video, like a £5 challenge kind of video.
I'm fucked round here then.
You've got some good places that
You're all
antique
shopping in the same places, are you enough?
Well,
I picked these up.
The Toxic Avenger.
Did you pick up a CX Warrington for £12?
Potentially, but I had a big argument because they didn't have part 3. Although part 3 was rubbish.
Yeah.
My issue was
I was looking at part 2 when I was in Warrington the other day, and the missus went, "You've not watched part 1 yet, so you're not buying part 2."
Part 4 is one of the most controversial films ever made.
Really?
It's not. It's bad. There's it's everything wrong. Everything wrong in the film is in that film. They're in you got this you got this kind of gang called the Diaper Mafia that break into this special needs school, and the big massive shootout, and the teacher tells the kids to duck. They do duck impressions and all get shot. The opening scene, like trauma at its worst. It's bad, and that's this one. That's Citizen Toxie.
That's got to be cancelled now.
It's, to be honest, a lot of trauma from like stuff like Rabid Grannies and Nukem High. A lot of the early stuff is bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yet again, like I've discussed on my streams, you've got these films like Terminator, Aliens. They had a toy line when we was a kid, and we weren't old enough to see the films.
Yeah, that's
we can go out and buy the toys.
Yeah,
we can go out and buy the toys. Like we were talking earlier, Toxic Crusaders. Although it's a TV show, it was made from an adult film.
Well, that's as you know, I quite like me Aliens and stuff like that. So that we were talking a couple of weeks back when AJ was on and Paul was on and stuff like that about the Operation Aliens cartoon that was meant to be out, and that's where the APOM came from, and the Ripley and the Power Load. You've got loads of these yourself, mate. You've sent me your pictures. These are all toy line figures from Operation Aliens for a cartoon that was never released because they didn't want to release it without the violence. Because they didn't want to downgrade the movies. So
and they finished the show. There's rumored there's been a few leaked episodes, and there's some of the merchandise like the pencil cases, and there's an alien case that's got Operation Aliens on.
Yeah, the colouring books and stuff like that. Yeah.
But even if you go into like Smiths do I think it's Lannard do a range of Aliens and Predator figures that look like the bright purple queens, which are reminiscent of the kind of Kenner line. Kenner made some of the best figures.
Yeah. I think that, to be fair, I'm not sure. That one I was just looking at then with that bike, fuck me, 3.3. It was saying...
It could be VR people.
I think that was Kenner who made that.
Kenner.
You might be right, but I'm sure it says Kenner on it when I searched it.
I'm just on a mission for Playmates now. Not Playmates as in but kind of, I've done the Ninja Turtles, and you got the Toxic Crusaders. I'm sure Kenner might have done the Beetlejuice line, because there's a new Toxic Crusader game coming out, a new Beetlejuice film. If you don't pick them up now, you can be paying top price for them.
Well, I went to Mannix this morning to go pick up those 3 from there, but like I say, he opens at 1 o'clock on a Thursday. It must be because you guys are
close at 8 on the
so okay. So I missed my normal toy shop yesterday because the market was shut, and I went to that one today and it was shut.
I've just got to open the front door for the wife. Sorry, get my dog out of the way.
But I've got quite a few Playmate stuff, but all my Playmate stuff's all Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I've got, which you can have. Obviously, I made a few films back in the day, which obviously I'm not continuing. But I've got this box of plushes.
I'll put you on big screen so we can see it. There you go, mate.
So we've got some. You've got one of these, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I've got a clanger. You want one?
Oh, and yeah, that's
Woody Woodpecker. Ed the Duck.
Ed the Duck. Look at that.
A bit controversial, this one. Golden the Gopher.
No way.
Basil Brush. Trying to get the angle right. Basil Brush.
See, there you go, mate. You've got an thingy meeting right there, haven't you? In that box. It'll be like that scene from Wreck-It Ralph, wouldn't it? Where all the baddies are in the getting counselled or whatever it was.
Did you ever see what I did to Sit and Sweep?
No.
No way. That's fucking awesome.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna. There's a rolling rat in there as well, I think.
That box. Yeah, I've got a rolling rat up there.
I'll give you a toy room soon.
Got a rolling rat. Mr. Blobby.
I think they didn't. Mr. Blobby original puppet went on sale on eBay, didn't it? Recently.
Yeah. Fucking hell. That box of controversy right there, aren't you?
Yeah, there's no Volvo stuff in there, so what's it? I don't know, what's some box of weird stuff.
Yeah.
So why I've got the Toxic films is I've been going through Dragon Ball. I'm a big anime fan. And going through Dragon Ball Kai. So I bought all, I think, 7 box sets. So we're watching it, me and the wife. We get to series 4, and it's got Dragon Ball Z in the box, not Dragon Ball Z Kai. So that was the abridged version. And I've had it for like 2 months. And obviously when you order online, it doesn't say what store they're from. Yeah. So it took like 2.5 weeks to get a credit from CX. That's when I picked up the Toxic films.
Yeah, I was in Warrington at the weekend, and I was looking at them, and I was like, oh, shouldn't I? But I get put off by the price, because like you say, part 2 was 12 quid. I get put off by looking at the price tag. I should just bite the bullet and just go and do it.
Lads, I'll be back.
Yeah, I know where they are now, though.
Steve, I just need to deal with this, mate. I'll be back.
All right, no worries, mate.
And you're into your horror as well?
Little Steve's more your horror, man. I'm more your sci-fi and action stuff. Steve's into his horror. Why? What have you got there?
No, it's the. I'm you're a Critters fan. Did you watch Critters?
I've watched the first 2 Critters. Yeah, I haven't watched the 3rd or 4th one. I think there's 5, isn't there, in total now? Critters?
Yeah, there's the TV show they made, which was on Shudder. Which it was 8 episodes, 10 minutes a piece. And they took it down. Fans hated it, but the Critters was really good. You can't get anywhere. And I edited it into a film. So that's what I made.
One long episode.
Yeah, so I made it into a 90-minute film. So that's
cool.
So I might. I'll see. I'll give you one of them. I've got a few different coloured boxes. Obviously, these were from Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I think that was from is it Into the Blue? God, who's in it? Timberlake film.
Mm-hmm.
Green box. Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars, and I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I had all the figures back in the day and kind of gave up after Phantom Menace and stopped collecting because they're worth pennies.
Yeah, I'm more into the filming series than I was the toy. I went through a stage of collecting toys and figures and stuff like that recently. But like I say, I've just gone and traded a lot of them in and sold them on. They was just taking up space, and I've got so much stuff in boxes that I wanted to get out, and stuff that I was looking at, I was like, yeah, I'm not really enjoying looking at them anymore.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars was one of the sets that had gone. That's what I was saying to Steve before. That shelf there, because Steve's stayed in this room, that shelf there is full of Star Wars stuff now. Now it's just full of Transformers, and I've managed to free up some space on these. So it doesn't, because everything was all dead cramped together and you couldn't see what I had.
You got to let them breathe, didn't you? In boxes, people put them in boxes. It's not, you don't buy them. If you buy to sell, I don't think you a real collector. You have to let them out of the box, put them on displays.
Yeah, they've got to be able to jump off the shelves and jump back on in the morning before you come downstairs.
Yeah.
Proper Toy Story, like.
Yeah. As every time I go into Kevin's, he does trade as well. Like, I don't know if you see the big Terminator in there. I built the Terminator. I built that, and I built the Ecto one because I've done all them fan home Eagle Moss builds over 1,000 years, which cost me a fortune. But it's just getting room for the stuff that there's no room. You can't collect everything.
No, that's it. And I'm looking at my room now, and it's just like, what? I don't like getting rid of me. I've been given stuff, or I've bought stuff off people from the channel and stuff like that, and some of it is worth quite a bit. Pete Eblin, that's in the chat there. We've done some deals on some of the Star Trek stuff, and it's pieces that I've never seen before, or pieces that I haven't seen since I was a kid, and I'm definitely keeping hold of them. But then people were sending us other little bits and bobs, like little figures and stuff like that, and they look great on the shelf, but they're not parts of anything that I collect. It's just that people think that you like it.
They're cool figures.
Yeah. It is worth a visit, AJ, if you're ever up this neck of the woods. Manic, yeah. It's definitely
just let us know. We could even if you meet in Birmingham, obviously I've done the Birmingham trip a few times, pick you up and bring you up here. You've got a couple in Manchester, even Worlds Apart. It's the same franchise for Forbidden Planet, I think, yeah. So when you're up here, good store, cheap as well.
Yeah, well, we've got a Forbidden Planet and Worlds Apart, both in Liverpool, and I just find
I'm from Liverpool. Really I'm in Liverpool now.
Yeah, yeah. But I just find them both. Really overpriced for what they are. Or compared to what they were. I used to love going into Forbidden Planet when being called a geek was an insult. Now all of a sudden everyone's got geek written all over the T-shirt.
Yeah.
Getting some really good places, getting some really good things, and T-shirts and figures and stuff like that no one else has got. But now they just price you out the market.
I think that for the problem with them that you go in there to look what's available and then order it online.
Yeah.
And I think 90% pop vinyls, isn't it?
That's what we do with Cheshire Oaks here. We take a walk around Cheshire Oaks, window shop, and then go and buy it on Vinted.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
It's the best way. Definitely.
No. But
so my problem with that... Go on, sorry.
I was going to say I'm definitely intrigued with this action figure hunt. I think that would be really, really good, and especially seeing people's journeys and what they've got and how they come about that. Because, like I say, I like watching the toy hunt stuff. Like Mark from Blue Harvest does quite a lot of that, and I like watching where he goes and stuff like that. It was interesting seeing some of the store holders that I know on his previous video where he was around the Comic Cons. It was like, oh, they're such and such. So that was quite good.
It's a nice community. So when you go to Manic Miners, just where his big Tomb Raider statue is, where his stockroom is, he'll come out with a massive big bag of accessories. And like, you know what these are? And it's just having them all out and remembering them and kind of matching them up. Oh, I need that one. I always take that one. No,
He was doing that when I went, and he just got a new intake of stuff, and he had it all on the table, and it was all Hellraiser figures and stuff like that. And he was like, I was like, oh, you've got such and such, you've got such and such. And he was like, oh, do you know who this one is and what series this one's from? And it was like we were having a good chat. It was good. It was nice.
It's good guy. Well, he bought his little figure, like this night figure. I looked at his face, and I said, I guess I'm sure he's from Dragonheart, the film, the really terrible film. And he googled it. It was the character from Dragonheart. I didn't even know the toy line, but the face looked like the character.
Yeah. So I picked up a hoist from him. He's up there. You can't see him. When I first went in and stuff like that, and it was just like, it was good just to have a chat. Like I say, we bumped into him when he was in Bolton because I picked up a couple of Predator figures off him, and he did say he had a shop in Warrington, but I just never got round to finding where it was. And then obviously you put us in with the location. So,
well, we tend to go around in groups. When we go to the fairs, we'll meet up in the morning at his shop, and then we go to all the fairs together. So that's all something out. So it's a good crowd of people talking about stuff we love. And you're not hidden away. People just, it's a toy. No, it's not. It's a piece of art.
No, I'm definitely down there. As you can see, I am definitely down the. You've got to unbox it. There's no point in having anything sitting in the box.
But how do you feel? I see you got your Transformers collector. so you got quite a bit of G1 as well. If they released obviously newer figures that looks more like the characters from the shows, would you ever get the newer ones rather than sticking with the G1? Because obviously,
I have got. Funny you say that, because on that top shelf there, in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll move it there for you so you can see it. On that shelf there's the Titans Return Cup and the G1 Cup. So
Okay.
yeah, I do buy the newer versions of them as well. If I like the molds, if I like the look of them. I'm not a big Bayverse fan. I don't like the Michael Bay movies. So I don't like what they did with Wheeljack. I was really excited when I saw Wheeljack at the beginning of Bumblebee. You know, where we got the original Wheeljack to talk, light up ears, and then when we got him in Beast Wars, I was like, "What have you done to him?" And why?
And the figure, you said the new figure from Beast Wars of him is not. It looks nothing like the one in the film.
No, well, Prime's the same. They've moved Prime to be more like the Robots in Disguise, Transformers Prime type, big bulky truck. But in the film, he's not. He's his wagon. So the toys don't relate to what we're seeing on screen. Is AJ?
I just don't feel like AJ made a good point when he said, "Hello, AJ."
Well, gents,
He made a good point, AJ, with the Beast Wars film. That obviously at the beginning it's on a different planet with all these robots that turn into animals. How do they know what animals look like? Because it's not on Earth. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we're very fine, mate. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, don't get me started on the Beast Wars. I haven't done a Beast Wars review, Rise of the Beast review. I haven't done one.
But it's like what you said with Wheeljack at the beginning of all that goodwill that Bumblebee done. The movie was ejected by this one.
Yeah,
it's gone back to Bay films, isn't it? Really? Well, that's not a Bay film.
No, but that's it's essentially. I mean, I've done a chat with Chris on Cypher Sigma. We've done a look at the Transformers, and you can take Bumblebee out of the equation, and you can still have all the other films just line up, and you wouldn't miss anything. You wouldn't feel that you've missed anything. Even though Bumblebee's like the best film of the lot, this one was so much like the others that it was just like all that goodwill was just tossed out for.
But they've had two attempts now of Primus and Unicron. You know, the last night had an essence of Unicron about him because Unicron was the planet, and now you've had the planet killer, and I think you've missed the mark big time on both versions of Unicron. If you're going to do it properly. Give us a proper, representation of Unicron.
I think just take the humans out of it and just have it in space. Simple.
Yes, set it on Cybertron.
Yeah, this new animated movie we're getting next year is the Cybertronian War. Give me 2.5 hours of that opening 5 minutes of Bumblebee. That's all I want. I'll be made up. Just give me what you were teasing me with at the start of Bumblebee for 2.5 hours.
But didn't they do like 3 almost shows on movies that animated on Netflix that weren't very good?
They did it was the.
That was the Cybertron stuff, wasn't
it? It was the Primes, the Earthrising Kingdom, and they just died. There was nothing of them. Some of the stories were okay. They give us a very kiddish Scorponok in the second series. The Kingdom stuff, I was never a fan of the original Beast Wars, and that sort of carried on. In the first one, they made Ultra Magnus a traitor, and he betrayed Prime, and then he got killed by Megatron. So there were snippets of bits of it that was really, really good.
But you have the bad guy. You want Quintessa and the Sharkticons, don't you? You want the Scrap Planet. It's got there's so much cool stuff there.
Take me back to Junkion and let Rekgar run riot and stuff like that. But the latest Rise of the Beast, I wasn't impressed.
You were proper disappointed, weren't you?
I was disappointed.
Hey, AJ.
Nice. I'll stay there.
But
Are we saying the Beast film's a sec? Would you say it's the second? Would you say it's the sequel to Bumblebee rather than the 7th or 8th film?
I don't think it's a
Is it-
sequel to Bumblebee either. It doesn't follow on from the end of The Last Night, and it doesn't follow on from Bumblebee. It just happens to be on Earth.
Just a
But didn't the
standalone.
end of Bumblebee end with Prime going on the bridge?
Yeah.
In the truck. In the same form he is in this one, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't. It's not like a direct sequel to Bumblebee. It's not.
Well, that's what I'm
not
saying.
It's not a direct sequel to The Last Night either. And to be honest, AJ's saying that you could take Bumblebee out of that route. I just wish if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry guys, but there's a bit in it, and I was made up when it happened because it took the focus off what was a bit part player up until 2007, and then it took the focus off him, and it allowed us to focus on other Transformers, and then they brought him back at the end, at the end of the film, and I was just like, why have you done that? I was.
What we're going to do next. We're not going to go into obviously spoilers, but that post credit scene. Oh my god!
I was made up what they did with Mirage. I thought Mirage was brilliant. Change of pace, great character, ties in with another franchise and stuff like that. The way that they've done it, absolutely brilliant. And you got the bit where we was flipping between vehicle modes as well. So he wasn't just stuck to one vehicle mode, and it wasn't a hologram. It was he could change into different ones. Just a breath of fresh air. And I was
isn't it? Yeah. So you haven't really got a Bumblebee lead for 7 films.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. But obviously, they with Mirage, they done the jazz. He became Jazz, didn't he? Essentially, in look, in vehicle mode. Although I didn't like the him turning into a garbage truck, just because of the sheer size.
The size difference, yeah.
Yeah, that bit bothered me. Like, I can understand the robot's so big, and forget the cartoon where like you have the the cassette player where you have Shockwave and Blaster, Soundwave, sorry, and Blaster shrink down to
Megatron little gun
size. But do you know what I mean? So they're a certain size, and they transform into a vehicle that's relevant to their robotic size. Hence why Prime turns into a truck, RC into a bike, etc. So you have Mirage turning into a Porsche. Fine. I didn't mind that it was Jazz essentially, but then to have him turn into a garbage truck, and it didn't show that transformation, but it also didn't show that it was a hologram, and it would have made more sense had that been him using a hologram to be a garbage truck. Do you know what I mean? Just because of the size differentiation. Is that just picking at straws, though? I don't know.
It could have been worse. It could have been an ice cream van like Skids and Mudflap.
Oh God,
yeah.
The most racist characters in Transformers.
But I did like the fact that Mirage was taking the lead a little bit.
Yeah.
Bumblebee takes a step back in this film, and it was just like, right, so you're taking a character from that was a nothing in the first 3 series of Transformers, first 2 series of Transformers, even into the 86 movie, he was nothing, and then all of a sudden the films brought him in, and it was like, who can be made relevant? We'll make Bumblebee relevant, and then he just blew up, hasn't he? So it was nice for him to take a seat back. I didn't like what they did with Wheeljack. I enjoyed what they did with RC. It was nice to get a regular looking RC compared to what we got in the Bay movies, where no one knew it was RC until after the film, and you saw the credits come up and so shit, that was RC. But now you can see it. Some of the Transformers look really, really good. I think the graphics and the animations of them were brilliant, but the storyline and stuff like that, and the human characters, we could do without them.
Yeah,
take them out.
You take them out and don't worry about them at all.
I had a funny story back in the day. I used to run a toy shop, and I was invited to a Hasbro event. I had to sign a secrecy agreement regarding Revenge of the Fallen. We weren't allowed to talk about what was in this room. They sat us in there. They showed us test footage of Devastator. We've had Devastator there. There's no footage. You just see the smoke and stuff, and then you see Shia LaBeouf turning away. Then they pan the camera over and go, "This is the toy line." I don't know if you ever see Devastator's toy. It's the worst thing ever made from Revenge of the Fallen. It was a big lump of red, green, orange plastic, and they go, "This is coming out this year. It's going to be like 80 quid, I think it was."
Yeah,
And I was blown away, so I ordered 10 of them for the store. Didn't sell one.
No.
Fucking hell.
So, AJ, lightsabers.
You could compare lightsabers now, yeah?
You what?
Lightsabers.
Oh yeah, lightsabers.
You've got a couple of the different like hilts and stuff now, haven't you? You've got several different ones. Are they all the same, like Black Series? Are they, or have you got some of the ones that I've got, which are like the Saber Pros or the Last Cerberus ones, or
No, all mine are Black Series.
Hmm.
I got my very first Black Series one was Darth Vader, and that was back when they were Force. No, it wasn't Black Series then. It was Force FX.
Force FX, yeah.
Lightsabers, and I bought that off of a fella in Epsom, a place called Epsom, for 50 quid. And it wasn't boxed; it was just, and that was Christ. We're going back to maybe the early 2000s, maybe 2005, and then Woolworths were selling some. Believe it or not, Woolworths had, I think it was Luke Skywalker ones, and this was before Woolworths closed down in 2008, obviously. And again, they were selling them for 50 quid at the time, then on sale. And I bought two of the same, one for me, one for my son. And then I just picked up over time, picked up more and more. But they are very expensive, and I've really got to stop getting them.
When they first come out, I was working at Toys R Us at the time. When they first come out, we got them in there. Yeah. And I remember thinking, I think at the time they must have been over 100 quid or just about 100 quid.
Yeah, I did get, with the new Force FX Elite ones, I did get the Darth Raven one, which changes from purple to red. And it has a kyber crystal that fits into it, and you can take out, and it glows on its own. Wow. But after about 3 days of having it, it would stop changing. It would only stay on the red and wouldn't go to the purple. So I sent it back it was off of Amazon. So I sent it back to Amazon, got a refund. And I think that might have been one of the very first Elite ones that they'd done. And I just thought that the technology probably wasn't quite right for them yet.
Yeah.
And interestingly, since then, they've taken the kyber crystals aren't part of it anymore. And the last two I got were Rey's and Princess Leia's because no one bought them, so they were reduced.
Did they ever do a Yoda one? Did they ever do a Yoda small one? Would that still be £100? Still £100? Or
Yeah. And the the Darth Maul one, you actually have to buy two,
didn't you?
To connect. And I did actually. It was a bit naughty of me in that.
This isn't an Amazon, is it? You're not going to tell
Amazon.
the story.
Yeah. Amazon. Yeah. So what Amazon done was I'd ordered one Darth Maul one, and they delivered it to my dad's. I have my postcode to my dad's because where I go, just go missing anyway, where I live. But I had it delivered to my dad's, and they left it stood up outside the front door. And it wasn't boxed or anything. It was in their box with just the stupid flipping sticker labelled stuck to it. So I took it in, obviously. And then I messaged Amazon and said, "Where is it? Where's this item gone? You've delivered it. It ain't here." And so, okay, we'll send you another one. So I got the second one to attach.
He's lost his job, that driver, you bastard.
Don't worry, AJ's got two lightsabers.
With mine, you need to buy two of them and screw them together to make the Darth Maul one. But it is part of the instruction booklet to make Darth Maul, buy two and unscrew. And that's how it's worded. It doesn't tell you anything else on that page. It's just that little sentence there. And it's just right. So for 16 quid, I might go back and buy a second one.
Yeah, no,
it could be worse. They could say, "Do you want the Grievous pack? You need 6 sabers, £5,000." Here's the Grievous lightsabers. remortgage your house.
I was like batteries. If you want that more, you need 2. If you want this, you need.
Yeah. But,
So
but you all have different colours and different halts for Darth for Grievous, don't you? I was looking at the Ahsoka pack on Saber's Pro website, and because it's 2 and the different shapes, one's slightly long, one's like a light dagger, isn't it? And one's a saber for Ahsoka. £455 you want for the 2.
Oh,
wow.
For the Ahsoka set. But if you bought the book Ahsoka and you bought the collector's edition of the book for £600, you got the sabers anyway. When he first came out.
Mental.
So,
even Kevin from Man at Miners, if you can get them in for you, and he'll pretty much do you in for cost if you wanted them. He'll order in for you. So
wow.
So one of the ones I was most disappointed with is the Samuel Jackson Mace Windu one. The hilt's really nice, and this was when it was not the elite ones. This is when it was Force FX, but the purple just isn't.
It isn't very purple.
No, it just isn't very striking in colour.
Okay.
I was a bit gutted with that one, other than the hilt.
Yeah, I've got there's 12 different colours on my one, and there's
you weren't very good at pressing that button, were you, Steve?
Listen, mate, I'd literally put it together, put it on charge, and that was the first time I was pressing the button.
The awkwardness if you go like that. Yes, it's got like 12
it's going to change.
Colours,
but the
and
thing
it changed like 2.
Do you know the thing is though, is when you've got gorilla hands like me and the buttons are dead flimsy, you don't want to push the flipping thing through.
I think you pressed it 4 times and nothing happened. Then you go, here's a red, and it didn't even change.
It's red.
I've got the hang of it now. You've got to press it. You've got to press it. Make sure it's gone in, not double click it dead quick.
Well, what about if you skip the one you want? Though you got to go all the way through again.
Yeah.
Did you not feel about
backward
you might want to shoot that video again, Steve?
Yeah.
No. See, not like you, Steve. I'm not very edited in my videos. I'm
completely edited. Yeah, of course.
That's why I put like 3 videos out to your 1 a year.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You know, but I've got used to
it. You literally put text up at the top, like as if just to explain.
I'm getting used to it.
The fact that you're going, it's red.
I'm looking like a bell end here.
And you press this button, and it does F-all.
I'm just going to review the effectiveness of this button.
It's great though, because when you've got it on charging, you've got it on really low. You just plugged it in, and you press the button. It says cannot turn on. I've got low charge. No, you've got enough charge to tell me you're not fucking turning on. Just turn on.
I never understood talking lightsabers. I think that's weird. It just don't make sense.
It's all the
want for fucking £16.
It's when you press the button twice to change the colour and you're getting Star Wars quotes. No, I don't want the fucking quotes. I just want you to change back the colour. But yeah, I got to the bottom of it. It took a couple of pints to get to the speed. I've got to click the button. Yeah.
Are you going to get one of the? Because you can get the hilt displays that are quite nice for the sabers. Are you going to get one of them to put on the wall?
They had them in that shop. The display stands for them, and it holds up to 4 different hilts.
No way, did it?
Yeah, so it was like, do I get one of them? But then I've got to buy the hilts to go with it. But you can on the Saber Pro website, you can just buy the hilts. You don't need to buy the tube, the light tube. So as long as you've got one, they can all screw into each other.
Be careful it's screwed in though, because in my head, I've got the Kurgan sword from Highlander. It was above their bed. It was above their bed, and it fell off in the night. And it was almost like a Final Destination moment. I almost got decapitated by Kurgan sword. I wasn't the one. It would have done me in. I can't even lift it up. It's massive.
This is not a good idea, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, I had 4 walls. I chose the wall above my head. I don't know what that was the thing.
The wife saying, "Come on, swap sides of the bed here now."
Yeah, there's a reason she's like, "I'll sleep on the left from now on."
Yeah.
But this is when I bought the Kurgan sword, and I don't know why I thought it was good. I spent £400 on a prop replica of the Scorpion King sword from the Scorpion King.
What,
The
thinking
Rock
that
one.
would be a thing?
And it's the shittiest thing. It's like a big golden scorpion at the bottom, and you had to oil it down every day. It'll rust. It was just a waste of money.
I go through phases because we go shopping in Chester, and there's a shop up near the model shop on the Rose, and they do all the swords and the helmets from like the gladiator helmet and all that lot. I go through stints of going, do you know what? I really want to start collecting them because they've got the swords from Game of Thrones, all the different swords and stuff. And I'm like, she shouts at me for buying a 6-inch fucking Transformer. What's she going to do when I come home with a 3-foot fucking broadsword?
in full costume. Walking up, riding a horse. Walking on the door.
I come home and I've got a custom-made stormtrooper in the corner or something. It's just like what? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I mean, I've got a prop replica, and I have Aquaman's trident.
I remember when you did your unboxing. It was massive, wasn't it? You couldn't even get it out. It was like the biggest thing.
I always look at that and think, why did I buy that?
So I remember, I think when the Leto Joker came out, everyone was buying the cane.
Oh,
The Leto Joker.
yeah.
And I think it went, and then the Negan bat was always quite popular from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And they dropped quite quickly.
So I can just imagine AJ on that unboxing video now, getting this trident out and knocking the Playmates Enterprise he's got dangling off the shield, and then he knocks the Klingon bird of prey off the other way. He spins around and takes 3 of the bookcases out behind him.
The Negan, I've got the Negan bat. It's still boxed.
You get the bloody one, or the?
It's the bloody one, yeah. I'd bought it, and the missus had bought it for me as well for Christmas. I said to her, look what I bought. She's gone, I've got that upstairs. Yeah. So I'm about to go back.
Steve laughs at me, though, because I get put on the buy-in ban, don't I, in May for my birthday, in July, and then September for Christmas. You're not allowed to buy anything, you ruin Christmas. And we went shopping in November, and I ended up walking into game and coming out with Blaster, and the missus went absolutely fucking ballistic. She was walking into game behind me just to buy Blaster, and I was walking out of game, she was walking in, I already had them in the bag. You ruined Christmas. She didn't talk to me for the rest of the day after that.
I get that all the time off my missus.
Mm-hmm. I'm just not allowed to buy anything, but then hopefully she don't watch my videos. So I've not done many for a while. So I can't. They just lucky enough the post comes in when she's at work.
No. Now I do have to take pictures of what I bought now, so she can see what I've bought, because, like I say, my birthday's next month, and then Christmas is coming up, and I often find having a quick glance around the room to see what I've got and what I've not got.
Just ticking it off the list.
You got that one, bastard.
I think AJ's froze, isn't he?
No, he just doesn't move very often.
Is he just posing?
Yeah, that's his pose.
Oh, there you go.
There he is.
Back. He's back.
Yes. Sorry, I'm away at the moment, so I'm playing jumping off the back end of my phone. So yes, it's not very good.
I watched the film last night. You guys must remember it. Do you remember Freaked?
Yes.
With I think Keanu Reeves was like the Wolf Boy, and it had Alex Winters in it, and Mr. T. It was like almost like a trauma film. Freaked.
Like 80s.
Oh, I've never seen it.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've heard of it.
The only film Alex Winters did after Lost Boys.
Any good?
It's fun. It's a really funny film.
Actually,
So, have you two seen Vamp? Vamp.
Grace Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of it, Rob? Because we reviewed it before, because Dave from Savage Zombie Movies picked it his homework movie last week for us.
And we had to watch it.
And we had to watch it, and then we've reviewed it in the first 10 minutes of the stream today. And my God, I have no idea what I was watching. It jumps from what it wants to be so many times.
I don't remember much about it. To be honest, I think it's more of when you watched it. If you watched it when it came out, It's
That's what
different.
I
Like,
said.
if you watch Exorcist now, people might say that's the most tamest rubbish film ever made. You watch it when it was meant to be watched, it might have been
Ambulances
good, but there's so
outside,
many
people
better
think that-
vampire films since that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what I said to him. He says on the back of the Arrow box that I've got, it says that it's obviously like an 80s cult classic sort of thing from VHS days. And I was saying to him, it
Yeah.
probably was one of those that you'd pick up from on a VHS at Blockbusters or whatever.
Mm.
Like, oh, we'll watch that tonight, Vamp, and you get home and it's probably a B movie more than anything.
Yeah. It's even stuff like Near Dark. I remember Near Dark being good when I was a kid. I didn't really rate it. And John Carpenter's Vampires, fantastic vampire film. If you haven't seen that,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's an underrated John
100%.
Carpenter film for certain. Yeah.
So Luke's asked a question here. Evening, Luke. Thank you for joining us, matey. Have you guys watched anything good recently? So what have you been watching?
everyone's silent. There's nothing good that's come out.
Well, I've got John Wick 4 to watch. I picked that up yesterday, so I've been waiting on that. So I've picked that up. So I'm hoping to watch that. I think tonight.
I'd recommend watching that in parts because it's a tough film to watch.
Is it?
And you've
I
now
almost bought the series 1 to 4 on Blu-ray. You know, the new box set the other day.
but they've now mentioned about a director's cut, haven't they? Of John Wick 4.
I don't want to ruin any experience of it, but Lee, my partner in crime, made a good point. Like when you watch Jackie Chan films in the day, Jackie Chan would beat like 50 people at once. If you watch like John Wick, he's fighting 16 people and he gets attacked one at a time. That doesn't happen in a fight.
No.
So if you look at the background people, everyone's holding back. Same as on one of the Batman films, everyone's holding back to attack the main guy. When in a real fight, they'll all be attacking. You could be getting beaten up.
Are we talking about this film on the realism of the film? Because I don't think it really is, does it?
But I think it's got to the point now where it's almost falling down from great heights. It's a little bit. I know it's unbelievable as it is, but it's a little bit silly now. I think
in a shaft, in an elevator shaft sort of type thing.
But then you watch stuff like Nobody. Nobody is completely believable.
Oh, amazing! Yeah,
fantastic film. Where John Wick's gone a little bit, almost like he's a bullet sponge in it.
Yeah, I get it. I still say the first one's a classic.
It is. That the fourth one it's too long for me. It's too long. It's a well crafted film. I can't knock that. It's well shot. It's well choreographed. All that, you know. It looks fabulous. It's just too damn long. For what it is.
Cheers, AJ, mate. Just appreciate that.
No, you know. I'm not saying that to put you off. Everyone's got their own opinion, isn't they? It's subjective. You may love it.
I've been looking forward to this for months, AJ.
For me, it's too long.
Anything else he's picked up, because he showed me Creed 3 the other day on the stream, and I just went, "Yeah, that's shit," you know.
Yeah. You've all got this really positive vibe around stuff at the minute. I nearly picked up bloody what's it called? The second film in that fucking franchise for DC. Just come out. Bloody
Shazam,
yeah. I nearly picked that up today. I'm glad I didn't.
It's fun. It's a fun film, but it's not. It's a bargain bin, £10.
I'll wait until it gets down to that then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's probably that now, to be honest.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay, but it wasn't nothing. I don't know. It just lacked, didn't it? It really did lack. I don't know.
I think because before that come out, people knew where DC was going, and none of these films were going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, that's it, innit?
But do they need to? Do they need to? Back in the day, we had a really good 18-rated Blade film, Punisher film. They didn't go anywhere. Didn't need to. Batman didn't need to have a sequels. Standalone films.
The first couple of Marvel movies were standalone films that had a small tie-in. 40 seconds at the end of each film, little tie-in until you got the Avengers. Yeah. Now you can have a fresh idea, and you know you're in trouble when you see part 1 come underneath the title bar.
Yeah.
Is everything's going to be a 3 or a 4-part saga now? You can't just give me a great little standalone movie and off you go. Or it's a 30-year-old sequel to a movie that nobody wanted a sequel to in the first place. but you're
Yeah,
not giving me a
exactly,
sequel to the movies that I want to see from 30 years ago that we should have got.
That's because it's a business, isn't it? First and foremost, it's a business more than an art form now. So they know full well that franchises where money's at for them. If they're doing a remake of a film that's 30 years old, you've already got an established audience, essentially, because you've got the brand recognition and all that. So it's a safer bet for them to do that than try and put out anything new.
Well,
And getting a Blade film without vampires in it.
Yeah,
no, that's right.
They don't fight vampires. A Blade film where he doesn't fight vampires. Brilliant.
Dune Part 2 doesn't finish the first book. So the first film takes you just slightly over halfway of the first book. The second film doesn't finish it. So I'm wondering how far of the book does the second film take it? Because if you're going to make a third film in the last 15, 20 pages of a book, just give me enough, just cut some crap out. You don't need everyone's backstory all the time. And I think that's where Dune Part 1 fell for me, because in the original movie, the 86 movie, was the 86 movie, or is it? They skipped over everyone's backstory. You got introduced to everyone dead quickfire, then got killed off, and then it finished off. In this one, everybody had half an hour where you got used to, you got talking to Josh Brolin's character, you had Jason Momoa's character, you had Soldier B walking from one of the hovercrafts, and you knew his backstory. You were like, no one needs to know your dad was a farmer on the Spice World 40 years ago. You just need to know that you're the pilot.
Well, you don't know where the mindsets. They might be having 2 films and then potentially go into a HBO Max TV show for 12 episodes.
Yeah,
it might be that direction where we're going.
Yeah, that's true.
What's Luke saying here? Have you heard that the Flash is bombed? What do you think? Is it bombed or not?
Yeah, we spoke about that earlier on. We're not.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. In a minute.
Yeah, no, it's definitely failed from.
I think
it's going to sell loads of Blu-rays, isn't it? It's going to sell loads.
Yeah, I think with Disney swapping ownerships through not Disney, DC swapping ownerships with a couple of times within the production and changing the storylines. The end credit scene where you get somebody, it should have been somebody else that would have led into the other stories.
Yeah, but you can't keep. You can't.
But then
how many times have we heard this recently where it's been a case of studio influence or the wrong changing directors? If the movie's crap, it's crap. They can't keep going through the same excuses.
But if you've changed,
we changed the makeup artist. That's the reason why it's got.
You've changed production crew 3 times in the middle of shooting a movie, and you've changed director twice. The movie is going to be shit.
But someone still signed it off.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I think it's waited so long for it.
That it's not going to extend into anything else. It's done.
Yeah, but it's not a bad movie. That's the thing.
I enjoyed it. The thing is, they should release.
At all.
They should release Batwoman or Batgirl. They should release that now. They should release it.
I reckon they should. Yeah.
If it's fully shot, then why the hell not release it?
The thing is, we waited 6 years for Flash. It was before. Was it before Infinity War? It was announced. I think it was ages ago.
I can tell you when Flash was announced. Right, Flash was announced when the TV series began.
That's mental.
That's when they announced the film, because I remember at the time thinking, you've just started a TV show and you're announcing a movie. Why would you do that? Why would you? Do you know what I mean?
Actors.
Yeah, it's like you're stealing the thunder of one. The logic wasn't there for it. So, and ironically, the TV show has just ended after 9 seasons, and the film's finally come out.
So,
8 years. 8 years.
I've highlighted the question from Kel here, and thank you for joining us, Kel. Who would you pick to play Bond? Now, I'm going to extend this question a little bit. Have you all watched The Luther on Netflix?
Yeah.
The new Luther. Do you think that we got the ending of Luther on Netflix because he's no longer in the running to play Bond? Because he's been ruled out of playing Bond now, hasn't he? Idris Elba. And then the ending of the new Luther is he sort of goes off into that world anyway, doesn't he? From being a street cop, now all of a sudden he's a super spy. Do you think we got that because he's not playing Bond and he wants to do something like that?
Potentially.
It's feasible, isn't it?
I still think if he wasn't as famous as he would, I would have said Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
If he didn't do Bane.
Mm.
I think he's a good actor. I like Tom Hardy.
So I quite like the idea of casting Aaron Taylor Johnson in the role.
There's everything.
That's everything.
Yeah.
every Marvel character known to man.
Yeah.
I think he'd be pretty good. Although, you know, I know people say Henry Cavill, but you know full well they wouldn't ever cast Henry Cavill because of Superman. Because they've never cast an actor in Bond that has been big in something prior, who has carried a franchise. Do you know what I mean? You look at it, Sean Connery was just an actor. Roger Moore came out of TV with The Saint. George Lazenby was nothing anyway. It was after
Peter
Roger Moore. Yeah. Timothy Dalton came out off a stage, essentially. He'd done Flash Gordon. Pierce Brosnan, what had he done? TV series Remington Steele. Daniel Craig wasn't a massive actor. He'd just been in bit parts and stuff. So they've always gone with someone smaller scale because they don't want you to look at Bond and think, hold on a minute, that's Superman.
What about the guy from Kingsman then? The Kingsman guy.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Something
Edgerton, is it?
Edgerton.
Yeah. I know he's listed for Wolverine potential, isn't he?
He was, yeah. I don't know about him.
I just watched him in Tetris, though, and he was really, really good in Tetris. I quite enjoyed that. And I just watched another couple of things with him in, but I can't remember what they were in.
He is a good actor.
Yeah.
You especially like him as Elton John, don't you?
It's a certain scenes he loves. Are you ready for love?
Man.
He loves the musical thing.
I turned Rocket Man off literally 2 minutes in when he started having the street party, and I was like, "This ain't for me."
When he revealed his rocket, that was off. That's it, done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, doesn't like musicals, yet expects to watch something that might have music in it and it not be a musical.
Right? No. Let's clear this up.
What were you thinking, Steve? Do you think he'd never sing through any of it?
Let's clear this up, right? 8 Mile, not a musical, music in it. You know, Get Rich, Die Trying, not a musical, got music in it. Bohemian Rhapsody, not a musical, got music in it. Rocket Man, full-blown musical.
A flamboyant.
I know a musical you like. I know one you'll like. Have you seen Repo, the genetic opera?
No.
It's got most of the cast of Devil's Rejects in it.
Right.
It's an adult musical, but it's quite gory, and it's I think you'll like it. Add that to you will.
So the likes of Sunshine on the Roof and The Greatest Showman and Rocket Man and stuff like that. I enjoy watching Phantom of the Opera. You know, I enjoyed that when Gerard Butler's great. I love watching the stage show of Phantom of the Opera. That's one I can get behind. The Blues Brothers, to me, is a little bit of a sticky wicket because that is technically a musical, but it's not a musical. You know, there's more music in it more than anything else, but they're not singing, "Good morning, how are you?" every 5 fucking seconds or whatever else. But, you know, so I do enjoy a film that's got music in it, not necessarily.
Little Shop of Horrors?
Sorry?
Little Shop of Horrors?
Love it. Love Little Shop of Horrors. That's what I mean. There's a couple of little bit of sticky wickets there, but overall, I hate musicals. I'm not a big fan of them. I watched the stage show of War of the Worlds the other day. Chris Hayden, Cookie and Hayden's using the chat, sent me up a copy of the War of the Worlds musical on stage, and I absolutely adore War of the Worlds, and I enjoyed that. There's a couple of bits of it, like Marty Pello singing, because he's the singing voice of Liam Neeson in this, because Liam Neeson's a hologram, and Marty Pello just does me head in. There's a whole 30-minute bit with Jason Donovan that could get cut out the stage show as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, there's bits like that. He's got great pleasure in sending me musicals every 5 minutes, a little bell end.
I think the problem with musicals for people is it's harder to follow the narrative of a musical because you've got try and take in what's being conveyed out of a song. If that makes sense. Like, for argument's sake, I mean, I love Les Miserables. I think it's a fantastic film, and I love the stage show. And I've been to see the stage show maybe 4 times, but then the first time I watched it, it was through school, and I must have been about 13 years old, and obviously at that age I couldn't appreciate it. I couldn't follow what was going on, and it weren't until a few times of seeing it and you get used to the music and what it's actually saying. And the same with something like La La Land. You need to be invested enough to actually follow what's being conveyed in the songs, to follow the narrative flow of the film. So musicals can be hard in that sense. I remember I took my daughter to see Wicked, the stage show, and I mean, I knew what it was about, obviously, but it was impossible to follow because you had to try and think about the songs and what was being said in the songs to follow the story. So musicals are hard in that sense.
What about stuff like it is a musical, Team America? It is a musical, isn't it? It's amazing.
Amazing.
Team America to me is like South Park the movie. It's just a piss take. It knows what it is. It's a piss take, and it's brilliant. You know,
from the opening scenes where they're trashing Paris.
Mm.
All the
best act in the world.
Now, I'm going to ask you, is this where you ask me to get in your limousine and suck your cock? No, this is where I ask you to get in the limousine and save the world with your acting skills.
You showed he's committed.
Now,
there's a director's cut. There's a director's cut in that. That film where the sex scene, she has a shit on his chest.
Yeah, it goes into scat. Yeah, it goes into scat mode.
It's nice. The only scene's extended. He pisses on her, and she takes a dump on his chest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Straight out the world of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Was it Ben Affleck? Ben Affleck was just a hand. What are they? Matt Damon. I love that film.
That probably messed his career up for a good little bit of time, that didn't it?
Right, we'll answer Luke's question, and it'll be the last question for the evening, guys. Because as you know, if we get to 9:30 and I'm not turned off, I turn into a pumpkin. So, Luke's question is: would you want the Terminator to be remade? Because he would like the Rocky films to be remade because it wasn't as good as he thought it would be. This goes back on to what we were talking with Dave last week. Would you like remakes versus good sequels or stuff like that? So, first of all, Dark Fate. Would you have liked to see them reboot the franchise right from the beginning, or just?
I think the problem you've got remake and reboot. You know, a reboot of the franchise. Terminator tried 7 times to reboot the series.
Yeah.
A remake, I don't think you can remake. I think Terminator 1 is better than Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2.
Would you have liked to have seen Dark Fate?
Sorry, are you saying that Terminator 1 is better than 2?
I prefer it to 1. Prefer it to 2, yeah. I love 2. 2's one of my favourite films, but I think 1's a better film.
Most definitely.
I just think that number 2 is the complete action movie, really. It's got everything.
But I think T1's a horror. It is a horror film. It's like you're scared of this threat.
True. Yeah, true.
Would you prefer Dark Fate to have took you right the way back to the beginning of Terminator instead of at the end of Terminator and then killing Connor? Would you have liked to have seen it reboot it completely, start scratch, write everything off? Personally,
I feel they should have not made it and maybe continued the TV show that was amazing.
Yep.
And they ended it, and they shouldn't have. The TV show was going in the right direction.
The Sarah Chronic.
Because it's open to a return, isn't it? The way they've ended that second series, it's just like we don't know what's going on with it now, so we can bring it back.
Yeah, where does that pick up from though?
It won't come up. It won't come back. They cancelled it. No. It was Fox.
See, I like all the Salvation's my weakest one. I can tolerate Terminator 3. Dark Fate was all right. I like the what was the Rev 9, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was cool. I just think we didn't need Sarah Connor. We didn't need her to come back for that film.
Thing is, because Salvation was meant to restart. That was meant to be the start of a trilogy. Then, what did you have next? Genesis.
Genesis, yeah.
That was meant to be
It was
the
Genesis,
restart of
wasn't it? Genesis.
and then Thingy was meant to be a restart of a trilogy. They just keep dropping the ball each time.
Yeah,
they can't do it. They just. But no, I agree. Terminator 1 is better than Terminator 2. As you know, Rob, I've done that video on.
You can make it better, yeah.
2. Yeah, I can make Terminator 2 a better film.
I'm gonna have to scrap that. And
This is before we were talking again. Before we was talking again, I was like, "What the fuck is he doing here?" But then you make good points.
I stand by what I say with that. That film should have opened with. It should have been an 18, which they would never have done because of getting the money back.
Yeah.
And it should have opened with Arnie coming through and being bad and killing people, but protecting John at the same time, up until the point John Connor says, "No, stop killing people." Not just beating people up in a bar. He should have come and you should have known.
Not selling drapes.
Yeah, selling drapes. Yeah.
So, what's your view on the Rocky series then? Because, like I say, Bilbao was the last one, wasn't it? Where
Bilbao was 6.
Yeah,
I think we've had Creed now. Creed is a reboot of Rocky, really.
It is.
Personally,
Creed
it is. But would you like to see them remake Rocky?
No, because there's nothing to remake. I like the way with Rocky Balboa. I like the way it ended. I thought it was, so strong at the end when he walks out of the ring, not even caring about who won the fight. All he wanted to do was prove to himself that he still had it. Yeah, and that was nothing to him. That the other, that if he won or if the other geezer won, the fact that he could still get up there and do what he'd done and see it through. And I thought that was just a fantastic ending. And he even though he lost the fight, he won because he won the admiration of the audience, and everyone was cheering his name as he was leaving that ring, even though the other fella won, and the other fella knows that essentially basically lost, even though he won. It was a powerful
zero to hero, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that again. It was that first film, that it brought back that. I think the thing that Rocky film didn't have was the fact that your main fighter that he was fighting wasn't a larger than life kind of opponent like what Ivan Drago was, or Mr. T and Clubber Lang, that sort of thing. Yeah, but for me, I think Rocky Balboa was a fantastic ending. And when they announced Creed, I was like, "Well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?" But then the first Creed film was really good.
Yeah,
I can't fault it, and it was great to see Stallone back as that character.
Is Creed what they should have done with Rocky 5 in the first place with Tommy Gunn?
I don't mind 5. I think 5's all right. It's just this.
But do you think?
I want to hear
it's a rewrite of Rocky 5.
I think Creed was a rewrite of Rocky 5.
Yeah.
No, Creed was a rewrite of Rocky 1. What Rob said is correct. Creed is nothing more than a remake of Rocky. If you go back to that era of film, that sort of those years, Star Wars: The Force Awakens is nothing but a remake of Star Wars. What other ones did you have? Jurassic World, a complete remake of Jurassic Park. Creed, a remake of Rocky.
Chris Hayden will argue with that, though.
Yeah. So what you've done was you've taken a concept, you've gone from reboot, you've gone from remaking to reimagining, and let's remake this film, but dress it up as a sequel, but bring in some OG characters,
some memories, a bit of soundtrack in there.
Yeah, to bring that audience in. And we can, so essentially they are remakes dressed up as sequels more than anything else. I think there's a term for them as well, but there was a load of films during that era that done it.
Cash grab.
Vacation tried to do it. The Vacation movie, that's a little one, but there we go. But
there were movie, I quite enjoyed that.
American Pie did it about 9 times.
Yeah. So it is a remake already. Creed is a remake of Rocky, essentially.
No, but it is number 5 is definitely the weakest of the Rocky movies. Of the actual Rocky movies,
Yeah.
number 5 is the weakest.
I can still have fun with it though. I can still have fun as like a down and out tale kind of portrayal.
Yeah,
Like, it's
fun, mate.
a,
It's all right.
a dirty film. So it's a
Yeah.
They put him into an interesting place for sure.
Yeah,
The character.
it's not like the shiny lights and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
is
he
it?
sort of lost everything, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think they could have done anything else with him after the Drago fight.
No. And that's the thing.
You saw the punishments he was taking, and I quite like the whole medical thing at the start of number 5. It's like you are panned, you are, you're going to be brain dead and all this, like brain damaged and stuff like that. I'd like that bit. I thought that was a quite interesting.
I don't think they should bring Rocky back in Creed. I think they should not say kill him off, but you don't need him in it now.
No, well, that's why it's not in 3, is he? Because he was saying it's not a Rocky story. There's no need to have me in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no need for Creed to have him as a trainer in it.
No.
I mean, it did lack having Sylvester Stallone in it. I will say that. It did. But narratively speaking, I will back the fact that Rocky's not required in that story.
Yeah.
But you did feel his absence.
I'm conscious that Steve's not seen Creed 3. What did you guys think of Creed 3? Because I know you've both watched it, haven't you?
It was all right. I thought they was going to go on the route to have like Mr. T's son in this one. Do you know what I mean? Going for all their offspring. But that's why the series was going to go. I had fun with it. It was all right. I enjoyed it. It was a good film. I didn't cinema it though.
Yeah, I didn't go cinema to see it either. It was all right. I didn't like what they done with some of the fight scene at the end when it went a bit dreamy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it around them and the
when it was just those two, you took the whole crowd.
Yeah, and turned it a bit sort of fantastical in a sense around them. I didn't really like that. It took me out of that. But it was fine. It was fine. I don't think it was as good, strong as the other two. But it was okay film.
Tell you what, I definitely after getting that steelbook, I definitely rate the Rocky 4
director's cut.
The director's cut, yeah.
I think it's amazing. I think it's really good director's cut. It's a better flowing film. You put it on, it's finished, it's done. It's like it's not a damn moment in the film.
No,
and the robot. They're taking the robot out. Thank God.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I love Paulie's sex robot.
No, see, I've had problems with Rocky 4 in that it's very dated now. It's a very dated film, and to get the director's cut kind of changed that. It altered it because it
wasn't even advertised, was it? Until when the HMV and picked it up on the seat on the back, I didn't know it was even on the disc.
No, I noticed it when they announced them. I think I said to AJ as well. I was like, it's literally the only reason why I was getting it, because I've got all the Blu-rays anyway. But the fact that this had this on the back of it, I was like, I definitely, because I've been trying to. I never got to see it in the cinemas, and I thought, I don't know if I'm ever going to see it. So I was well.
It was going to get a cinematic release at one stage, though, wasn't it? It was going to be released.
It did get a cinematic release.
It did.
Yeah, it did. But it was one of those limited for cinemas only things.
Yeah.
You say that, and they never are, but it was questionable whether or not you'd see it.
I've actually got, ironically, I've actually got an opening for that steelbook tomorrow.
Well, I can save you a bit of time there if you want.
When did you film it? When did you film it?
Yeah,
I filmed it about 4 weeks ago.
To AJ's fluffing stream. We now know what he's got coming up in the next month.
Because I'm away at the moment. I filmed some stuff previously.
How have you just burst through the door?
To put up. So,
There's a paranormal activity thing going on in little Steve's screen.
Yeah, it's Leo. It's his son. Oh. He's had to lock. He's had to put a lock on the back of the door so Leo can't come in, and he's obviously just charged the door there because he's just swung wide open and took the lock off.
Come here, cheeky monkey. We'll pull you out of here.
So yeah.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
So that brings me on to the last question then, guys. For my viewers that don't know who you guys are, because we're in the reselling world as well as the movie communities. Where can people find you guys? What channels are you on, and what have you got coming up next, and what type of stuff have you done? Because, like I said,
I know what AJ's got coming up next.
I'm a little bit infamous, but obviously, I'm Robert Fett's band. We do a few controversial streams, and I will be doing some normal streams soon, and I'll be doing Toy Hunt again very soon.
Normal streams, you promise?
Normal streams from there on. At the moment,
I do want to come back on a live, Rob.
Yeah. Obviously, all of you guys are welcome. So I'm just getting a sync planned with AF reviewers, and video tasters are going to be on soon. So we get all you on at the same time. Normal stream.
Superb. But as for me, what have I got coming? Actually, I've got next week. I've got some Blu-ray hunts coming up that I've done here while I've been away. Free. And I found some nice steel books in, like I said, for £1 in charity shop. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I've got a video for that coming up as well.
What, in July next year?
Yeah, July next year. That's right. No, next week.
He'll premiere a video, and he's got long, luscious locks that he filmed in the 90s.
You might see my facial hair change daily, depending on where. Yeah. And I might be in the summer, and I might be wearing a thick jumper, but you never know.
I was like that when I filmed the Star Wars thing, because there was like 5 hours between me filming the first one to the first part to filming the second part. I was like, you might have noticed I've changed tops. Now I have in previous videos where I've shaved my head and shaved my beard, and I've looked completely different from one cut to the next. It was like, oh crap, what? How are you getting around that one now?
Yeah, but with me, it's more a case of, you might have noticed we've changed seasons.
There's snow in the background.
Yeah, I did make reference to that the other week when you were on, didn't I? There's a Blu-ray I picked up, but AJ, it's -4 and it's snow outside. What's going on?
Yeah, I had a jumper on, the thick jumper on, didn't I?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yes, Rob, on a lighter note, you mentioned on one of your streams the other week about doing a YouTube of charity boxing tournaments. I know it was a bit of a jest. Is this something that you'd like to get up and running? Is it? Because if
110%.
If it is, Sam,
you'd like to knock some of the lights out, or are we just?
I think Lee's got a bit of an issue because he's waiting for a transplant, but he's way up for it. And it's not aimed at any people. I just think it'll be a bit of fun.
Yeah, charity event. You can stream it to everyone's channels all at the same time.
You do it, mate. I'll watch.
You could be in charge of the spit bucket, Steve. You could
be the I'll do that. I'll throw in the towel when he mangles you.
I've got the intro, mate. I've got quite a good intro. I'm quite good with intros. I've got something lined up.
You've got some of the best intros I've seen, mate. Honestly,
it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? And it's really the free program on me. All my editing's done on my phone.
You're really good at it, to be fair. Even when you
yes. But yeah, the boxing things, you can get a license to ring it. There's a couple around here, and I think it would be a bit of fun. We could do it with oversized boxing gloves if people want, or bare knuckle in glass potentially. A kickboxer,
whatever it is.
This is when I'll get my first match, and it was someone I don't know, and he'd be like a 7-foot beast.
Yeah.
That's a kickboxer.
It'll be kickboxer versus hot shots. Here's your broken glass.
Yeah, you've got like Smarties.
Yeah. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands.
Frozen M&Ms. Yeah, I'll have bounties. Yeah, bounties on my arms.
No, if that.
But I think as a group, I think the whole toy hunt or even like a CX hunt where everyone gets a voucher and goes around and has to buy someone else something else. Yeah, and then we all do a video to post on all of our channels to see who we do like a competition who we think bought the best gift for the other person. Maybe pull names out of a hat, and you got like £5 to spend in CX. It could be saying, I think that'd be good. That'd be a bit of fun. But you have to watch what the other person sent you.
But if it was like that, then would you do it off? If it was something like CX, would you do it like off something that you're passionate about, or that you think they would be passionate about?
It depends. I could surprise you with like Serbian movie.
Oh, I've got that.
It'll be like Not So Secret Santa Steve, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just
You
sort
have
of
to guess.
thinking about it because if it was like something that I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever seen, like fucking Rubber, and I've said that to somebody.
Is it Rubber, a film where they're filming someone watching Rubber, and that
Now,
was
don't
rubbish.
you dare! Don't you dare! That's
I
the best
like Rubber. I think it's a
tire
good
movie
film.
you'll ever see.
It's
But
in my
it's
collection.
Best killer tire movie you'll ever see. So don't you dare even come on here doing that.
well, the Dark Star's is Dark Star like a rubber ball kind of horror film, isn't it? Is it Dark Star? Fucking shit on it.
That'd be
We
good
would
because
have-
it'd be like,
we would
look,
have to
here's a
wait.
film you haven't seen.
You'd have to wait until March to find out what AJ bought someone, though, if you wait for this video.
I think maybe we speak to the people that we know personally to see if you've not bought something someone's already got.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah,
After your musicals coming your way.
yeah, I've got a few saved up ready for him, mate.
But
Yeah,
Repo, the generic opera. Check the trailer out. It's really good.
I'm dreading it because he's coming up in 2 weeks' time because we're having a bit of a do here, and he's coming up to stay here. The last time he stayed here, you dickhead. Last time he was here, he was hiding musicals in my display cabinets and all sorts. It took me days to find them all. And
You want to swap the disc around as well.
Yeah, I was filming something. I was filming something, and I was just like, you hear me on the camera go, you bastard, because there was like a copy of Grease 2 hiding behind the scene here, behind the sign here, and
I had him everywhere.
the showroom was down there, and so I was like,
You're just about to put Transformers on, open the case, and it's got Fistos in there.
Oh, can you imagine? Just change aliens.
Point the player.
yeah, but how often I watched them? It might be 12 months before I realised she swapped Mean Girls.
The only reason you'd find out is you took it to CEX and be like, I'm sorry, Steve, but unfortunately, this is Grease 2.
Like, no.
CX don't take Serbian film.
But that's where I bought mine.
Oh, well, maybe when it come out. When I went to trade mine in, when it come out, they refused to take it because what it was.
Really?
Mhm.
No, I made the mistake, right, of sending my wife in for it. Now I didn't know too much about it, but I was like, he said something like banned and da da da. I was like, okay. So I said to my wife, I was like, look, I'm in work tomorrow. Can you go in and get this film for me? And I got home, she's like, do you know what this is? And I'm like, not really. I saw the back of it and thought, all right, okay, well that's banned in so many different countries.
You don't want to watch the director's cut.
Honestly,
there is an uncut one of that.
We're watching First Contact over on Video Tasties.
Yeah, Michael. Old Michael who thinks, who he doesn't like. What doesn't he like? Christ. Alien, he doesn't like.
Terminator. I had someone on my group that didn't like Terminator 2 and hated Alien.
That. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Turn Terminator off in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Wow.
He didn't like Alien, did he? Because he didn't get to see the xenomorph until about 2 hours.
He thought Alien was too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
He doesn't like The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And Wrath of Khan he doesn't rate as a very good Star Trek movie.
There you go. So you've commented live on our stream, and I've put good evening live on movie chats on. Right. All right. No worries, ladies and gents. Right. I think we are live on Monday this week, aren't we, Stevie?
Is it not? Did you say the 25th, didn't you?
Which is Monday.
I thought you'd organised it for a Sunday, to be honest.
No, that was the wrestling special, but I've had to reschedule that.
Oh, right, okay.
So we are live.
Gosh. Yes, we are, because of Chris, yeah.
Yes, we are live on Monday at 8 o'clock. We are covering for Cookie and the Haydens because they're getting ready to move house. So it'll be a bit more reseller orientated. And then we are live next week. Now, we have got a couple of pre-records scheduled for Saturday and Tuesday as well. So I apologise now that you're going to get bombarded with movie chat notifications. It'll be like subscribing to AJ.
I usually go through my day on that and I'm like, oh, is it tea time already? Oh, breakfast. Yeah.
So thank you for those that have subscribed to us. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We are steady at 501 subscribers. We've been there for 2 weeks now, so that's a bonus for us.
Yeah, that's
So thank you for those that are staying with us. Thank you for your continued support. Like I say, keep an eye out if you haven't already. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to these two as well, and go and check out some of their stuff. And join us on Monday for a bit of reselling chat. I'm not going to run the outro because last week we got copyrighted by YouTube.
What?
So I went on the YouTube studio. I downloaded a YouTube song that they said I could use on YouTube Lives, and we got copyrighted by YouTube for using.
Did you get removed?
Yeah,
I get copyrighted on 90% of my videos. It doesn't affect you unless you're monetized.
I've seen your intro. I'm not surprised, to be fair.
Some of my songs are, you only when you're monetized you have to watch that, but you won't. Nothing will happen.
No. I was more pissed that it took me half an hour to find a good one on YouTube Studio that I could use to put on the back of the intro, just for them to strike, for them to copyright me anyway, saying this music's only allowed to be used on YouTube. I said it is used on YouTube, but they were like, yeah, but we haven't given you permission. It's on your studio. Surely that's you giving me permission when you let me download it.
And when you edit your description, if you put in it, this song, it doesn't belong to me, so and so, sometimes it lets you get away with it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to run the outro. I haven't had time to fix it or whatever else. So, on 3, 2, 1. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.